All right, Jay, obviously a ton of news to get to as the coaching carousel, the hiring cycle fires up after the regular season, but I gotta start with your report on Sunday, a report that made a lot of waves as we got ready for kickoff in week 18. And that was the idea that multiple teams around the NFL are interested in trading for Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell, which I mean, he's one of the best in the game. I could imagine there would be interest, but I mean, how much legs is there to this idea?
Well, it was interesting because, look, I reported this, not that he's getting traded, and people went insane. Even like other fellow reporters took shots at me. Uh, this is crazy. How could you report something that's so false? It's not false. And you know what? After 33 years, you'd think that my track record would carry a little bit more weight. What I reported was there are teams that are interested in attempting, seeing if they can try to trade for Kevin O'Connell. Now, I didn't say that means it would happen. And even the guys in the show said, well, what's the leverage? And the leverage is that there's been no contract talks with Kevin O'Connell at all. So he has 1 year left on his deal. So whatever he decides, I haven't talked to Kevin about this, but if he decides, you know what, I'm just going to play out this last year, then he could say, I think you guys should get what you can for me. Because I'm just going to go in on one last year and then be a free agent after that. So that's the leverage he has if he chooses to do that. And I think that's why teams have, teams, what they do is they look to see, who maybe they could try and possibly make a run out of. It's a possibility. Over the years, several different teams have looked at a guy like Mike Tomlin to see if they could do something like that. And one even try to backdoor see if they could do something like that, but didn't really get there. But it's kind of what happens in this league. So again, I never said he's getting traded, but without a doubt, there are teams, and the teams that are involved ask me, please do not mention us, which I have to respect. But it's kind of their question was, do you think this could be a thing? Do you think there's a possibility? I know that one team at least is saying, man, we would gear up and trade this and this and this for a guy like this. So yeah, there are talks internally in buildings about trying to make a run. Now, look, it could be a long shot. It could be a crazy idea, but it's only crazy if you don't take a shot. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I think it's a long shot to happen. But the news was that he is up there on teams' boards, and it wasn't one; it was multiple teams about trying to see if this could happen. And again, a lot of things would have to fall into place for something like this to happen. But there's still a lot of discussions that have to be had because the Vikings haven't had any contract talks with him. And as Michael Strahan said in our show yesterday, I'd be offended if I was Kevin that they didn't come to him earlier in the year and say, hey, let's make sure we nail something down here. I think the Wilfs looked at it like, hey, we're fine. It's a foregone conclusion that he'll be back. But I think, in this league, you got to kind of think ahead and be more proactive than reactionary. So you don't get in a situation like this where other teams are saying, hey, if he's by any chance upset by this, we could try and see if we can make a run.
That is such a great point. And I would fall into that camp as well, where you're just like, well, he's done an amazing job. It's a foregone conclusion that the Vikings will extend him when the time comes. But you got to keep all that stuff in mind. I mean, every team is going to be looking for any edge they can get. You got to factor in the respect factor of a coach who has accomplished as much as Kevin O'Connell has, probably wants a little bit of assurance that he's going to have some stability. I think that's a fascinating point that, hey, just because it looks like a foregone conclusion doesn't mean you shouldn't try to be proactive. And maybe this will help lead to a contract extension for
Well,
Kevin
I
sooner
think
rather than
teams
later.
also probably looked at it and go, why have they not gotten them done yet? Oh, well, let's see if maybe we can do something prime away. Right? Maybe they haven't gotten them done because they haven't talked and he is intending to just play it out. So let's see if we can offer him something if he's going to play it out. Maybe he doesn't play it out. So again, I don't know the answer to that question. What I do know is that multiple teams have him on that board and discussed it. And it's not like these teams are in cahoots with each other. They all had independent decisions to do something like this.
Yet another reminder that no matter how far-fetched it sounds, good NFL teams will look into it.
Yeah,
At least I think that's what they should do.
yeah,
Anyway,
absolutely. And that's why I understand why everybody's kind of questioning me yesterday. I'm saying I didn't say it was getting traded. I'm saying this is what multiple teams are thinking and want to make an attempt to do. They may get shot down right out of the gate, but my job is to report the news. And he was a candidate on these teams' lists on multiple teams. It wasn't just one coming up with this harebrained scheme. It was more than one.
We'll see where that
Well, like
leads
I
as
said, I
we.
was a little disappointed and every time this happens, I get disappointed when my job is to throw things out there that nobody has any idea about. And when they don't, I've tended to get crushed over the years, whether it was years ago that the Giants are going to trade Odell Beckham and I got just destroyed from that. Or last year that Wink Martindale and Brian Dable are headed for a quick divorce and I got crushed for that. And just like, man, it's my 33rd year doing this. I don't really get a lot wrong.
It's an incredibly valid point.
At
Well,
least
I mean,
maybe after 33, give me the benefit of the doubt that maybe I vetted this properly.
well said, Jay. And I'm intrigued to see where that storyline
My
moves
wife
here
said
over the
yesterday,
next.
Jay, by now it's just part of the job. People are going to cross you. I got a little more upset with people I respect in the media.
I mean, understandably so. It can lead to some interesting exchanges and
As I
situations.
really respect, yeah.